Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well and happy Father's Day as well. Today we are going to try and tackle a project that I've been putting off for a while. The NOx sensors on the engine. And some of you may know what I'm talking about if you've worked on these types of trucks before. This is not the first time I've done this project. It's actually the second time now. I did it 2 years ago and it did not work. So, I've learned a couple of things since then. We are going to try it again, and there's lots of videos on YouTube already that kind of do the step-by-step how to repair this, but I figured I would just kind of give you a general overview of what I'm doing, and I'll speed up some of the processes as well because it's a little boring at times. Stick with me and we'll get this project going. So I should start by saying I'm by no means a professional mechanic, but I've worked on my fair share of vehicles over the last while. So basically the NOx sensors, they have to do with sending the right amount of fuel and spark to the cylinders so that your engine runs nice and smoothly. So just kind of run with that. We just want the engine to run nice and smooth. And right now it's pretty good because this truck is in really good shape, but it has had this issue for a couple of years, and it's just not something I want to deal with. So now we're going to finally get that worked on. So to start off, we're just going to unhook the battery. Partly because I've had bad experiences in the past where I haven't unhooked the battery. And we want to reset the engine computer as well, because right now it thinks there's an issue, and hopefully by the time we're done with this, it will have fixed the problem. So we'll start with that. Then we're going to take this air intake off, which is this big, huge piece right here. The NOx sensors are underneath the engine intake. You can't even see them. But basically where this pulley is right here, they're kind of straight back there. So it's a real pain to get at. That's why I'm kind of taking the whole day here to work on this. So hopefully we will have success in the end, but if this doesn't fix it, then we know that there's an issue somewhere else. All right, here we go. Okay, so our air intake is off. Negative is unhooked on the battery. I covered up this airbox entrance here because the mass airflow sensor is right here, and those can be very sensitive. If they get like the minuscule amount of dust particles or whatever on them, it'll completely mess them up. So just threw that on there. Next step is going to be to take this throttle body off. And there's just 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3, and that just kind of drops down and sits there. And then we've got all of this mumbo jumbo to deal with. Evap. This is actually the connector for the NOx sensors. That will be getting replaced. Fuel rail right here. Injectors are down here. One thing I want to note is that if you're taking this fuel rail off, it's a good idea to just bleed the fuel out of the line because it'll have pressure. That's what this little thing's for. You just take this off, and then it looks like a valve stem. You can just push a screwdriver or something into it. Make sure you got a rag if you want to catch the gas before it gets everywhere, and that'll let the pressure out. So I will just kind of work away at that, and you can just watch the time lapse as I go. So in typical car repair fashion, we've already lost something. Not anything serious, it's just the little clip that holds this connection on. I pulled it out and it just went flying down there somewhere, and it's gone, so not a big deal. We'll just have to go get another one from the junkyard. Anyway, moving along. So this is loose. It's a little tricky to get off, but it should just pop off. And then we'll start getting some of this other stuff off. Okay, I just had a little chuckle to myself. Here I am searching for that clip. And it is right there. So that's good. Okay, moving on. So I'm not a mechanic and I'm not really authorized to give mechanic advice per se, but I can tell you this. If you're gonna do these kind of repairs, pick up one of these trays. It'll make your life so much easier. This was literally like $2. And yeah, then you don't lose any of your bolts as you're taking them off. Obviously just remember where they go. Or you might have issues later, but yeah, lifesaver. I've got a couple of those laying around. Okay, so most of the components and such are unhooked from the top of the intake manifold. I think we'll probably start figuring out the fuel rails, getting that off so we can get this intake off. So here we go. This fuel line here put up a fight this morning, I'll tell you. So it slips on here, and there's 4 tabs, and that's what holds it over this ring. And the idea is you're supposed to take this tool, slide it over this, push the tabs up, and then you can slide it backwards. But it's been like 2 years since I did this, and I was trying to remember what the trick was. So you have to slide it forward, push on the tabs, and then try and wiggle it off. So I think it would have made more sense just to have a screw-on fitting, in my opinion. But, is what it is. Anyway, it's off now, so we can move on. Alright, that intake is out of there. It is definitely a job for sure. The first thing we're going to do before we mess with anything is get the vacuum out and vacuum all the junk that's sitting in these little spots here. You can see some rocks and stuff. Get that out of there and find a way to plug these intake holes before we do anything, because we don't want any junk going down those intake ports. So that's what we'll start with. These are the NOx sensors. As you can see, they were conveniently placed underneath everything else. And according to the codes I'm getting on the truck, they're both failing. So we're just going to replace them both, and we're going to do a couple other things too with them this time, and hopefully they'll cooperate. So that is the plan. So I've got our intake ports just temporarily blocked with some shop towel. And that's just preventative measure so that, you know, if we drop a bolt or some residue from something, it doesn't go down there, because we want to eliminate that as much as possible. So now we got that done, and thankfully, because we had this out 2 years ago, we don't have too much removal of gaskets to do. Like, it's pretty clean, so that's nice. That'll cut our time in half. So now I'm going to pull these knock sensors out and check them out, see if we can figure out what went wrong, and then we'll put the next ones in properly and hopefully they work this time. Alright, so it's been a little bit. I kind of got in the zone there, so just picking away at stuff. So as you can see, the old sensors are out of there. Just about to put the new ones back in. I got this stuff kind of cleaned up a little bit better. I tested the old sensors and they have the right resistance rating, but they don't seem to have any kind of like an output voltage. I don't know if it's just my tester tool that's possibly giving me a bad reading or what, but the only guess I can think of is that the old ones were just junk right out of the box. So yeah, cleaned up the threads down in there for those. The problem with these is that the original design allowed water to get down into the holes, and all that did was just corrode the holes out so that the knock sensors weren't making a good connection. Sorry about the background noise. I also went ahead and cleaned up this ground connection at the back just since I was in here anyway. So yeah, next step is to put the brand new knock sensors in and get those properly installed, and we'll have the intake back on in no time. So we've got our new knock sensors installed with the new harness. According to the technical bulletin, and there is a technical bulletin for this, it's a very common issue. All you're supposed to do is just take a Permatex sealant and just make a half moon around here, just to stop the water from going in. But to me, it just makes more sense to just go all the way around the gasket. Then you have no chance of water getting in anywhere. So anyway, we did that. So just prepping up the intake to go back on, and I gotta pull these little rigs out. Okay, so I've got my intake more or less ready to go back on. These are new gaskets on here. One thing I wanted to point out is these are the fuel injectors, and look how tiny those little holes are right there. So any little piece of sediment could get stuck in there, and then next thing you know, you got a misfire or something. So I've checked all mine, they're all good, but just figured I'd point that out if anybody else was attempting this project. So anyway, please enjoy this time lapse of me fighting this to get it back on. So we got it all put back together. Hopefully we didn't miss anything. We're gonna find that out shortly when we go to start this. So let's see if it still runs. Woohoo! It still runs. Okay, well, we successfully completed that project. Hopefully it works out and the engine light doesn't come back on. Hope so. Anyway, obviously this was kind of a shorter video. I was just trying to think of something to put up on the channel for this week. I'm kind of looking for some new ideas of stuff to do. People seem to really like that abandoned campground video I did, and I'd be interested in doing more abandoned explorations and stuff, but I don't want to do anything that's illegal or trespassing. I don't want to get in trouble for that, so I've been kind of searching to see what else I can find around here. But if anybody's local, or even if you're not local and you have any ideas that you want to share with me for other videos and such, there's going to be some more coming out that'll be like the camping and the hiking type stuff. But if you want to see anything else interesting, I'm definitely open to other ideas, so please let me know if you have any suggestions. But anyway, that is all I've got for you today, so thanks for checking this one out, and yeah, I'll keep you posted if this project worked for me, and yeah, so thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you in the next one.